Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you've got a bit lost. Welcome everyone. I'm Chatty, this is my channel Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting away madly about my September TBR. So firstly, I need to apologise to everyone who thought there'd be a book game this month. I'm really sorry, but there is going to be no book game this month. Bookladders and Bookworms, I adore playing it. It's so much fun. But I already have so many things I want to read this month. It seems silly to play the game when I already know what I want to read, but I'm not 100% sure because there's so much. So I'm not doing the book game to kind of like tie things in. I'm just going to try mood reading this month within a limited amount of books because I really want to be finishing off series, working on some other bits, finishing off my magical readathon goals. There's different bits and things, but October it will be back. I will definitely be doing it in October. I was considering maybe doing a book game live, but I just feel there's so many things I want to be doing. I really want to get my Daddy's Challenge video up and running, and that one I really want to get doing. But also I really want to get my physical TBR and my bookshelf reorganisation filmed and shown, so I can start being accountable for reading my physical TBR again. Anyway, this is a September pile of possibilities that I may pick from this month. Some may trickle into October or November, but this is kind of the books I'm feeling inclined to read in September. So, first of all, I was kindly approached by the author Joshua Hershey, and I have been sent a copy of his book, which very kindly has been signed, which is awesome. So I'm going to be reading this either September or October. We'll see kind of like where it falls. This is Lindan Falls, so yes, puns, we love them. It is an adult fantasy. It's got sort of kind of like heaven and hell themes. It's been described as Christian fiction. I have not read Christian fiction. If I have, I've not been aware of it. I've not been aware that this is a genre until I've heard it kind of like spoken about on BookTube. So this is going to be fun. I am really intrigued by, on the cover, we have this like glowing tattoo here, which looks very interesting. And also this snake beast demon thing looks also very intriguing. There's a magical book, there's other worlds, there's deities. It sounds really, really exciting. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. Thank you so much, Joshua, for sending me a copy. So either September or October. I'm not going to rush it because I really want to be able to give it my full time and attention and thoughts and be able to feed back to everyone with all of my thoughts on this. So if I'm not feeling in the mood for picking up a new fantasy, I'm going to do it when I'm more in the mood so the book has the best overall feeling for me. So this is the first one, and I've realised I meant to do something else before I started on the books I plan to read for September. So it is currently Sunday the 27th of August. So we've got 5 days left of reading for August, but I know that I'm not going to read all the books on my TBR. So I am hoping to have a mixture of these, or at least started some of these. So these are kind of my focus books for the last few days. You've noticed this beast on here. This is Fool's Quest. I think if it was just this one that would be feasible, but I've also got these two as well that I'd quite like to read. So they may trickle into September as well, we will see. So this is Raj and Laura Cora's Red, White and Whole, which is a middle grade historical fiction set in the 80s, focusing on family and identity, and it was also written in verse. So this will be a really quick and easy one to read, but again I want to give it my full time and attention. So this is could trickle into September, could be finished in August. Fool's Quest, I'm so excited to read Fool's Quest. I feel like I've had enough time to have enjoyed and taken in Fool's Assassin, and I'm ready to throw myself back into Hob and just relish every single page she is writing. And I just can't wait. So I was supposed to read this in August. That's the plan still. I'm still going to try and do that. We will see. Brain, come on. It is one of the prompts for the Magical Readathon. It's hitting quite a few of my things because I'm allowing myself, because I'm only entering Star Whisperer, but Piola's also wants to be doing Scribe and Alchemy and reading as much into them as possible beyond what's needed for the Star Whisperer and Scribe callings, because that's what Piola's does. But I'm just going to be dabbling that in my own time, so I feel I can double up on prompts because of the excessiveness. So I won't be doubling up on any prompts for Star Whisperer, just Star Whisperer and Scribe and Alchemy. So this fits all of those because it's Mahusive. So I'll be taking off a lot of those when I finish this one. If you've not read Hob, go over to Derry's channel, look at the Hob, the world, start with Assassin's Apprentice, get your reading boots on, amazing adult epic fantasy. And finally, a more fun one. I have started this one, so I'm currently reading this one. This is Terry Pratchett's Making Money, and it's a reread for me, and it's just a joyful time. So again, all of these I feel I could very read easily and quickly if all I had to do each day was read. But I also have to work and, like, you know, be a mum. So not always given to that time. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, my first official September one that I'd like to get to is Lindan Falls by Joshua Hershey. Let's start moving them all over here because we've got more coming in. Going on the lines of finishing off series is kind of my next one. So I was hoping to read one of these three for one of the prompts for the Magical Readathon, like finishing off a series. So I have Mary Stewart's The Last Enchantment, which is the third book in the Merlin trilogy, as part of her Arthur saga. There is like another book and another novella that kind of comes after that, but this is the official part of the Merlin trilogy, so I'm just ending it with this one, and I probably will read those on, but like much later on, but this would finish the trilogy for me. I recently read The Hollow Hills after having a massive gap between that one and The Crystal Cave. And I really want, I want to finish the Arthur saga, so I can kind of hear it. I do enjoy the writing. There was a little bit of misogyny in here because of it was written in the 1970s and society was different. So it grates a little bit, but it might not be as bad. I don't know. But I am really interested in the time period and I really enjoyed the writing. So I'm able to kind of have a little rant and move on, but it's not for everyone. And there is a reason why I'm really keen to get the Arthur saga read as well. There's another reason. Let's slot you in there. So I'd say probably out of all of them, that one is my priority of the finishing series, but I do want to finish these. I really want to finish out the first Percy Jackson series. So this is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is my reread of it. I keep saying it was a childhood favourite, but I realise I actually was not a child when I read this. So this book was first published in 2009. Yeah, so 2009, I was already working and living with my boyfriend, now husband, at that time. So I'd been a year into living in Brighton when this was published. Not a child, but still nostalgic and still loved. So I'd really love to, and I haven't reread the series in years, and I have my very pretty hardcovers, which I do really love reading from. So I do want to get to this and finish this one. But hey, time will see. Very concerned about my tea. Oh, I didn't do my teacup. So on this channel, I don't edit, as you may notice, because otherwise I could have put this in earlier, but I can't swap and change stuff that I do, so it's here. So embrace the chaos. There's one shot, it rolls, and I can't edit it. So you get waffle. You get all the waffle. So sorry, but that's life. Cheers, everyone. Clink, 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 clink. Let's hope it's, embraced by you and chaos is held to a minimum, but we will see. Right, don't spill the tea. Move that over there. Now we have room for more books. I also really want to finish out The Ember and the Ashes Quartet. This is the final book, A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. I really want to know how this ends. Things were moving and it was getting a bit darker in the third book. I didn't enjoy it as much because there wasn't the fun feeling of characters being together as much in that one. It's a very hushed world. I'm not sure where the journeys are going to go, how it's going to end, how it's going to feel, but I want to know. So I very much feel like Sabata here has a very clear plot of where she wants it to go, and it's all been plotted out, and then she's getting us there. So I do want to read it. It's a very decent sized book, so it's biggish. But it is YA, so it has got a sort of a faster pace feel, so I'm hoping I should be able to kind of get through it quite easily. And I'm keen for it, but we'll see kind of how my mood goes, because I do feel it could get quite dark. So we'll see. If I'm not in the mood for it, it might be dropped back for like until October, November, we'll see. But definitely by the end of the year, I want this series finished. Oh, I think I'm just still going to just crack on with all the series I want to be finished. So the reason so this one I'm really, really excited by. This is the one that I'm really feeling in the mood for, and this is why I want to finish off the Merlin trilogy, because I really want to read Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. So it's taken me a while to get hold of this book. I finally did it when I went on the wonderful bookshop crawl meetup with some booktubers. I finally treated myself to this one because I feel ready to read. So this is the second book in the Legendborn cycle, the first book being Legendborn, which I read 2 years ago now. Really loved it, really, really loved it. And I started the Crystal Cave then. That's when I started the Merlin trilogy, to kind of read up a little bit on the Arthur legend before going on, because this has lots of Arthurian lore in it. So I'm really excited to get to it, which is why I wanted that one done, so I can kind of, you don't need to, but I like to see kind of references to things. I like to be able to be in on those sorts of things. So that's why I wanted to read the Merlin trilogy first. But again, it's YA fantasy, it's urban fantasy, you have a mix of magics, you have a really fun protagonist, you kind of have this sort of like elitist club. It explored themes of grief and racism in the previous book, and I liked how all of that was handled. I'm really intrigued by the magic systems. I'm very keen to see where this series goes, so I'm really excited to kind of pick this one up and carry on, especially hearing Emily from Novel Novels absolutely rave about this. She's got me really excited to pick it up and read it. So I feel, unless something happens and I don't get through The Last Enchantment, I feel this is a definite one for this month. Okay, and one that I've been putting off for a long time, and I feel ready to get back between the pages. I might be feeling burnt out by finishing like a load of fantasy stuff, but we'll see how I get on. Sorry, tea break, it's needed. But I have Conjuring of Light, which I paused June 22 because I got really annoyed with it. So I have discovered that V.E. Schwab and me do not get on as an author-reader pairing. I like her writing. I like characters. I like her ideas, but I really struggle with her plots and where they go and how it's executed. So I read the first book, In the Shades of Magic. I want to say Pure Dead Magic, but it really isn't that. That's a middle grade. It will tell me in here. Oh, here we go. A Darker Shade of Magic. There we go. I read A Darker Shade of Magic as a buddy read. And then I read A Conjuring of Light. And then we were all supposed to read, so this was with Jessie the Sleepy Koala, and I think she's called Meg on Discord, but she goes by Sylvan Princess. And we were a little bit disappointed. I think we'd hyped this series up so much in our heads. We really loved the concept of all the different Londons and swapping in between, and I felt that was done well in the first book, but the characters, I couldn't quite place them. They didn't feel quite grounded, like they didn't feel like they had time to breathe and react to emotional situations, and I couldn't quite get behind the relationships kind of between them. It just didn't quite feel it worked. Then in the second book, the character stuff was really good. We started to get the payoffs between the interactions between the different ones. We started to get feelings of resentment, feelings of love, but annoyance of situations, like feelings of grief and trauma and reactions to everything that had gone before, and it started to feel more believable, and the characters felt more grounded and real and breathable, and I enjoyed the relationships between them. However, we spent most of that book in Red London. We barely visited any of the other Londons, and I kind of felt like the whole draw of the series was the jumping between the different Londons, and it just quite wasn't working. And then at the end of that book, stuff happens and goes down, and I was like, yes, love it, it's brilliant. I know I'm going to love the third book. I'm going to be so excited. Started reading the third book. Everything that was set up at the end of that book was resolved within this. Hold on, it's still in here. The bookmark is this. Right, all of that setup, we're done. We're now back to everyone's fine, apart from the big bad is coming for here. And I'm like, I'm not just interested in you guys being a happy family and taking down the bad guy. There was so much interesting dynamic and relationship and tension and weight that was set up at the end of the last book, and it's like, it's all fine because we've dealt with it, it's fun, it's finished. And I was just like, ah! So much wasted potential. But I've had a long break now, and I feel, because I didn't just want to just be like, right, fine, I'm not going to do it. I was like, no, I want to know, I want to give my receipts, I want to tell you all if this works. Everyone is excited about the fourth book coming out. There is a fourth book in this. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not picking it up. Unless this suddenly absolutely blows my mind. Can't see it happening. But unless that happens, I'm not picking that fourth book up. However, I thought it might be fun. Everyone else is getting really excited about the fourth book and rereading everything. And I'm going to make myself finish this off. Because this is part of my Chatties Challenge, a video I hope to make but haven't done. And I want to be able to give you all my receipts, and then if I finish this, that's a series ticked off my series list as well. I feel ready to go in, and just now I know that that's happening, I can just read it again and kind of see it, and then see what happens throughout all of this, and I'll let you know what I think. But I feel ready for this now. That was a nice long waffle, wasn't it? Don't know how many of you needed to know all my thoughts on the whole series and my emotional journey with that book, but you got it. Tea is still hot. We are happy. Okay. Couple of books that I don't have that I'm hoping to get out of the library. So again, Chatties Challenge. I really want to get Neil Gaiman's Trigger Warning, which is a collection of short stories. Not sure how I'm going to feel about it because some might be uncomfortable reading, I don't know. But it's short stories. I feel I can kind of pace it out between some other things, and that being part of my Chatties Challenge will help me progress with that so that I can tell you all what I think. The other one is for an actual physical book club that I am part of, which is really exciting. And we are going to be reading Demon Copperhead and meeting up in the middle of September. So I need to read this at the beginning of September. So Demon Copperhead is by Barbara Kingslayer. This book is kind of up for prizes, won the Women's Fiction Prize, lots of praise from people. I think Alice on the Giant Bookshelf really, really loved it. So I am very keen to read it. I would also like to read David Copperfield as well and kind of compare, but I think I'll read Demon Copperhead and then maybe Christmas, January, read David Copperfield. We'll see how it goes, but definitely going to be reading that one because it's for a book club, but I do need to get it out the library. There are loads of copies at my library, like loads, so I feel it'll be okay to get hold of one. So that's those. So it's all kind of feeling, apart from Percy Jackson, it's feeling quite big and heavy. So I also want to just chuck in a middle grade. So I loved Juliet and the Shark by Kieran Millward Hargrave. Oh, you cannot see the title here, but if I wiggle it, you can. Oh, look, that's quite magical, right? So this is The Girl of Ink and Stars. So it's a black silhouette and the writing is like italic-y blue and the light sometimes catching it for those without eyeballs. So Kieran Millward Hargrave, really, I did love that one book I've read, but I really feel I'm going to love all her work. And this book I have been wanting to read for such a long time. It's on my wish list for a really long time. I got it for my birthday 2 years ago. I haven't picked it up yet. So it is time. It's time for The Girl of Ink and Stars. So I think this is going to be like a nice relief between all of their adulty, epic-y, massive books, which will be nice. Books I'm also continuing working on that I would like to work on a bit more. I have the Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens that I'm reading as part of Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers' serialised book club, which is a wonderful idea where you read it in the segments it would have been published in, so you're like waiting for the next instalment. However, I have not picked this up since May. I don't know where I've got to in the spaced out bits of it, so I need to recheck that. I'd like to catch up a bit. I'm not expecting to be fully up to the September part, but I'd like to catch up a bit more before half of it disappears from my brain. So want to carry on with that one. Oh, sorry everyone. Are you still on? Oh yes you are. That's fun. That's what I mean by chaos. Every now and then the camera just likes to leap off the stool and do that. So I hope you're all well. I hope no one bumped their head and you survived the trip. Back to the books. Okay, don't put things on the wobbly surface of the bed where everything's balanced on. Note to self. Other books that I'm continuing to work on. Should I even bother talking about it in this? Because look at this. We have, look, it's already gone off. It's already about to go off camera. No, right. I'm not going to be, that's not going to be read for a while. We're just going to pause that for a bit. Okay, we're going to move on. So, okay, do you want to know what it was? Right, okay. I really want to read this. This is Black on Both Sides, A Racial History of Trans Identity. But it's highly academic. So what it's discussing and exploring is really, really interesting. But I need a brain. Like, I've tabbed this really cool, like, I've tabbed this really cool bit where it talks about, like, what's really important for us to think about is not only, like, what, like, not social media. What have I actually written here? Oh yeah, so like the social history and kind of representation of trans people. It's kind of exploring what's been left out of like the mainstream content and really having to kind of like dig into and around to find more of the history. It's highly academic. So I read the preface and I read the introduction and I was about to start the first chapter when I was kind of catching up on a load of other stuff. I was really behind on buddy reads and started focusing on those. And then I picked it up again. I was like, I need to read the introduction again because I've kind of forgotten where we were going with this. And so it's just going to take me a long time to read. And I feel it's going to be one where I need to like not feel like I've got loads of plans so I can really give this all the time and attention. I don't even know if I might just pause this and just revisit it again because I am going to have to reread it. And just maybe even next year because there's so many plans I have for now. But I really am keen to read it. So I might need to just try and get hold of like a less thick and meaty trans history book and have one that's more user accessible for me in my melted brain state. So parking. Again, I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up, but Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman, the second book of the Arthur Scythe trilogy. Want to read it because I want to carry on. Really enjoyed Scythe, and I read that last April or March. Long time ago now. Would like to continue and get that series knocked off. But given this, not sure if it's going to happen, but it is also one of the prompts for my magical readathon for the Star Whisperer, so it may roll into like October, November, but again, another one I really want to read by the end of the year. What is further up the list as a priority is, sorry Thunderhead, let's put you on this because it is part of the plan. Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. Really want to read this. I've been wanting to read it for a long time. It's appeared on many videos of what I need to read by the end of the year because I just do want to read it and it's going to happen. Also, this is from my spring equinox of the Magical Readathon, where Piola's went to study all the subjects. So this was the spells and incantations one, where you had to read a book that was between a certain number of pages. And I think I literally only had 2 books that worked for, and this was one of them. So really keen to read this one. And also because it's a contemporary, again, it's going to feel very different to all of the fantasy. So it might just be a little break that I need amongst all of that. Oh, crikey dudes. What is going on here? Right. I'm going to take these 3 out because we're going to pretend that I will be amazing and I will read them in August. Ha 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 ha. I have no faith in me. Right, now you can all shut up. I really should have paused for this, but you're just stuck watching me shift books along a shelf now, sorry. Okay, there we go. So that's Queenie. I also have done quite well with reading my Fairy Loot books thanks to Vidania and Chloe reading along with me. It's been a while since I've read a Shelter Box book club pick, and I have been wanting to read my Shelter Box as well, and I made this video about predicting which ones I'm going to think I'm going to love, and I would like to revisit that. So I need to kind of crack on with reading those. So I really want to read A People's History of Heaven by Mathangi Subramanian. This sounds amazing, but I have been told I will need tissues. So it is set in, it says, in the sprawling Bangalore slum of heaven, 5 girls, Muslim, Christian and Hindu, gay and straight, form an unbreakable bond. These are girls who refuse to be silenced no matter how much their city would like to forget they exist. But now heaven is being threatened by government bulldozers and the friends must come together to protect the close-knit, vibrant community they call home. I think that sounds awesome. I love a story of close friends. I hope they're okay. I'm a bit worried that they're not going to be okay, but I do really want to read this. And again, it'll be like a breakup of all the fantasy. And finally, a buddy read. Nope, 2 buddy reads. So the first buddy read is City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaffer. So this is the Fairy Loot book that Vidania and Chloe and I are going to be reading as a buddy read for the month of September. Look at how cool these edges are. That is a silhouette of a pteranodon. I think it's no, it could be a pterodactyl because it's not, doesn't stick out that much at the back. Dinosaur fans, I'm sure you'll correct me. And the tagline of this book on the back is very cool. Look, we've got like a golden spider web there. It says, face your fear or become your nightmare. So this is an urban fantasy. It has sort of like a Gotham feel to it. It feels like it might be quite dark, but it's YA, so it's going to be pretty fast paced. I'm really keen to read it. Rebecca Schaffer, fun fact, was an author that was really heavily thanked by Ziran J. Zhao in the Iron Widow acknowledgements. So I love Ziran J. Zhao's work. So I'm presuming her friends are also good at writing books. So we will see. But I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be nice, like having a different feel. Like it was, I feel like I've had a good read of some like very fantasy heavy worlds. So having more of like an urban kind of like modern take with some fantasy elements in it, I feel is going to be really fun. I do think the cover is gorgeous with, again, a sunset and the city rising above it. And you can see again, like the pterodactyl there, which is really cool. So yes, very keen to get into this one. We've got some really fun end pages here. And then the book looks like that underneath the dust jacket, which is pretty cool. So it's very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. some serious looking characters in here. So yeah, it should be fun. And my final hope, which is by no means small, is possibly going to be a bit emotional, but I think it's going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to fall into this month, because although the plan was for it to be read this month, there's kind of just been a little bit of a fallback because of when the scheduling for videos for the chat about this has been happening. But it is the final book in the realm of the Elderlings, Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb. Considering that I'm going to read Fool's Quest in August, that is my plan. It would then follow on that I would read Assassin's Fate in September, ready for the live show on Anita Gardray's channel and all the Discord chat. I have enjoyed and loved so much reading this, chatting in the Discord. It's been amazing. I'm going to feel a bit bereft when it's all over. Robin Hobb is currently my favourite fantasy author. I feel this is going to be my favourite fantasy series of all time. My favourite book of all time is currently Fool's Fate because of the emotional payoff. It's going to feel really weird finishing this off and not having more of it to read and anticipate. I'm going to love rereading it, but it's going to be weird. It's going to be very weird. So, shall we look at my pile of possibilities? So this is considering I read the 3 that I want to in August. I have many wonderful choices to choose from. Should we try and tilt the camera a tad? Oh look, there we go, look at that. Ta-da! So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plus 2 library books. So 14 plus Pickwick Papers, 15 possibilities to choose from. So they're possibilities. I'm not reading 15 books. That would be mental. I cannot do it. So yeah, we will see. I think at the moment I'm very focused on The Last Enchantment and Bloodmarked. I feel those 2 I'm very focused on, and obviously buddy reads are important as well. And the rest we'll see what happens. But some of these may shift to October or even November, because October I have 3 readathons I want to partake in. So who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and, either enjoying or enduring the waffle, whatever camp you're in. I hope that you are looking forward to September. Please let me know what you are planning to read. Any thoughts on all of these? Like if there's a particular book you're like, I really want you to read that and I want your thoughts on that. That may influence me. It might not, but it might. So I'd love to hear about it. I hope you have a wonderful bank holiday weekend and happy reading. Bye bye.